What's good, YouTube? Man, it's your boy JohnnyLox, aka Mr. Ooh, we back with another video, man. In today's video, by the title and the thumbnail, as you can tell, man, we're gonna be talking about your hair unraveling. Now, this goes for mainly the people who are just getting started with their locks and probably almost a year in, because no lie, I'm still dealing with that. So I'm gonna give you a few ways, maybe 3 or 4 ways that you can actually avoid or deal with, I'll say, your locks unraveling, because it is going to happen. It is definitely going to happen. Now, the first thing to consider is the fact that you may have a certain texture of hair that is really, really soft and fine, and that type of hair is really, I mean, for lack of better words, it's just slippery. You know what I mean? It doesn't have the grittiness, you know, like 4C type hair may have, to where it'll actually hold itself in place and actually begin the matting process for locking. For instance, let's say if you have a Caucasian or white person, you know, so their hair is straight. So in order for them, but we still do see it, in order for them to have locks, it's going to take a little bit more effort for them to get their hair to lock, meaning they may have to use other products or different type of locking methods like crocheting and things like that to help their hair lock, because their hair doesn't have a really coarse curly pattern, you know what I mean? So then it's just going to take a little bit extra for them. But then as hair progresses, then you have a curlier texture of hair, which will allow the hair to lock a lot easier. So if you notice, let's take, if you have a person with an afro or something like that, if you don't comb your hair for about a week and you try to put a comb or a pick through it, it's not just going to come right through. It's not just going to flow right out. It's definitely going to get a little knotted up, and that's because the hairs have, you know, different types of curl patterns or more curlier patterns that'll actually lock up a lot easier. So what I want to tell y'all, man, I want to give y'all a few methods to think about and to consider. I want to go and credit this to my wife, because I went up there and asked her, you know what I'm saying, and she asked me for 20 bucks, but I'm just going to give you the credit right here in the video. A couple of ways I knew, but you know, I just kind of drew a blank on some. But anyway, so the first thing I'm going to say is keeping your hair covered. So if you have starter locks or you're a few months in on your locks, always keep a do-rag or something. Let me see, I just took mine off. So if you keep your do-rag right here, and let's say if you work in a type of environment like a warehouse or something that's, you know, a little messy or whatnot, it's good to keep your hair covered, because that'll allow for your hair to stay in place. Even though if you do sweat, you know, and your head, you know, it'll start sweating a little bit and your hair will start raising up, because you know how our hair do when they start getting wet and stuff like that. But if you keep it covered, it'll help it by holding it in place, and that way you can preserve, let's say if you just got a fresh retwist, or if you're just trying to extend the retwist as long as you can to keep it looking nice, because you're a couple weeks ahead of the wedding that you need to go to, but your hair was just looking so crazy you had to get it done because you couldn't go to work like that. If you keep it covered with a do-rag or a bonnet or something when you're sleeping at night especially, then that will definitely help keep your locks from unraveling. Not only that, it'll help keep the moisture in. Let's say if you have any oils or anything in particular in your head that's you know, helping keeping your head moisturized and hydrated. Now, if you happen to go to sleep and you forget to put your do-rag on, to get you like a silk pillowcase or something. That way, at least your head will kind of be sliding around. It won't get caught on cotton and different fabrics that are gonna snatch and pull and just dry your hair out when you're sleeping. This is worst case scenario. The next thing that you can do is keep a style in your hair. So this goes for people who have a little bit of length, you know, and let's say if you weren't too eager to get started with your locks and they're not super short, if you have a little bit of length in your hair, let's say like for mine right now, you know, I could probably do a style with mine, but I'll be honest, I'm not too big on styles, because for some reason when my hair holds in place, it wants to itch, so I just be patting like crazy or putting a comb or something and just be scratching just a little bit. But anyway, if you keep a style in your head, then that will prevent it from moving around as much. Also, if you do happen to go work out or something like that, then at least your hair is being held in place and it won't unravel that way either. So like I said, this isn't for people who have like starter locks. at a very, very short length. Now, if you have starter locks and you already got like 6 inches of hair or something, by all means go for it. But at the same time, if you have starter locks, you kind of want to keep it loose and you know, let it go through the process at the same time. So keeping a style in your head will definitely keep your hair from unraveling. The next method that I'm going to say, and this is something that I've done even the past few months, this is a point that the first thing that came to mind when I thought about hair unraveling, is get you a crochet needle. So I have a few crochet needles. I don't have them down here with me, but I'll show you a screenshot of what they look like. And they have different sizes. They have one that has 1 needle, and they have some that have 3 needles. And basically, when you use a crochet needle, you can kind of assist the hair with locking up, tangling up, however you want to, whatever you want to call it. But it does add a little more resistance to the hair holding and keeping in place. So for instance, when I first started my locks, I had a taper, I had a fade, so my sides were cut down low. The back at the bottom of my head was cut down a lot lower than the rest of my hair because I had like a temp fade going all around. So the locks that are in the back and the bottom were shorter than the rest of my hair, and they still kind of are. So what I ended up doing is a couple months ago, and I'm taking a crochet needle and kind of crocheting the bottom row because it was so short, and I wanted to kind of help the hair along with the locking process, because they definitely did unravel a little bit. Like the first time it was long enough to even, you know, put a comb coil in it. So going to the gym, working out and sweating, and the back of my neck was kind of, you know, wet and whatnot. They came out a few times, and it was a little bit frustrating, I'm not even gonna lie. So having a crochet needle, and just, you know, if you're sitting in an office, sitting at home or whatever, and you got a minute to just, and you're watching TV or something, it's okay to take a crochet needle and just kind of crochet a few of them in certain areas to kind of help with that. Also, crocheting helps with frizziness. So when you're within a few months of your lock journey, you're definitely going to have some frizziness, some loose hairs and things like that. So if you want to kind of neaten up your locks, it's okay to crochet just a little bit here and there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying go through the whole head and do it. I mean, you can, but at the same time, you got to be careful with that, because you want the hair to lock up the way that it's supposed to. And it's still, like we always say, it's a process, and the hair is going to do it for you. My last point that I want to make, and this is a very, very valid point right here, is it's okay if your hair unravels. When you're going through a lock journey, your hair has to be trained to do this, to lock up and whatnot. So if your hair is not used to just doing its own thing and, you know, just going all over the place, then it's definitely going to be difficult at first for your hair to lock up. If this is your first journey and you see some locks unlocking, then that's completely fine, because over time, with each retwist, you will see that the hair will start to get matted up more and more, and then at some point it won't unravel, I promise you. And over time, what will happen is those locks will get tighter and tighter. It'll be a lock. It won't just be a comb coil or a twist anymore. So just remember that it is completely okay if your locks unravel. It's fine. It's a process. I mean, I could go through the entire locking process and how all that goes right now, but I won't do that. But I will say this. So one thing that I'm dealing with, and I'll take this headband off so I can kind of show you. Whew, that feels good. But basically, one thing I'm dealing with right now is when I get my hair retwisted after I'm about 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks in now. If you look here, this is one that's in the front. All right, so if you look here, you can kind of see that this part of the lock up here is tighter, it's not quite as frizzy. And then when you get closer to the root, like this area right here is more frizzy and just soft. It's not locked, but it's going through the process. So like this area right here is another budding process right here for this particular lock. And that's not just on that one, that's on all of them. You see how that one is fatter right there? It's going through the process, and most of them do that, and it's perfectly fine. At some point that part will look just like that. It's okay if locks unravel. They will fix themselves over time, all right? So don't fret. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this video off. Now, if this is your first time at the channel and you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on your bell notification so you know when I'm posting videos. And I have one more announcement. I gotta go on and start putting this out here now. My year mark is coming up on the 26th. May the 26th is my year mark. So I'm really looking forward to this, and I want to go and tell you guys right now. You're gonna be the first to know. Spread the word, share this video, clip this part, whatever you got to do. I will be going live for the first time. This is not my first journey. I didn't do it on my first journey, but this is the first time in this journey that I am actually going live for my year mark. I'm gonna be getting a retwist that night. We're gonna have a special guest roll through. We're gonna be doing a bunch of different things, Q&As, discussions, any kind of questions y'all might have, man. Get them ready. Tell all your people we going live on May the 26th. That is a Friday. Still trying to get the time down, but it's probably gonna be around like 7 Eastern time, all right? So you're gonna convert that, you know, if you're on the West Coast or whatnot, Central, whatever it is, you know what I mean? But we are going live on that night, and it's gonna be a situation, man. I'm just gonna go on and tell you, it's gonna be amazing, all right? So without further ado, man, it's your boy JohnnyLox, aka Mr. Ooh-wee. I'll holler at y'all in the next one, man. Y'all be safe, stay locked, stay blessed. I'm out. Peace.
I woke up this morning, got me feeling brand new, like I know what to do, got me feeling nostalgic.